My name is Amelia. I'm a 40-year-old housewife. My husband Charlton is 35, and we have been married for 5 years. We are a happy couple, just the two of us. I grew up with just my dad, who worked a corporate job after my mom passed away when I was young. I was always worried that if I got married, my dad would be left alone. Even when I was dating someone, I hesitated to take the plunge into marriage. Whenever I talked about my hesitation, people would say it's because I'm a daddy's girl who loves her father too much. That's when I met my current husband. He understood how much I care for my dad and even said he would be okay with us living with him. That sealed the deal, and I decided to marry him. My dad was thrilled when I told him the news.
I am so happy. Now I can face your mother in heaven. Don't worry about me, just focus on being happy with Charlton. Charlton, please, take good care of my daughter. Make her happy, especially because she has had to struggle with just one parent.
My dad had never said it, but he had been worried that my being raised by a single parent might be a reason for me not getting married. He also runs a real estate agency while working his corporate job. We received a new house as a wedding gift from my dad and lived happily. Then, 2 years ago, my dad retired at 65. After retiring, he seemed to lose his energy and seemed to age rapidly. So I started calling him every day and visiting him regularly to check on him. My husband's work schedule changed, leading to more overtime, so I started visiting my dad even more. One day, I couldn't reach my dad at the usual time, so I went to check on him. I found him collapsed in the bathroom. I called an ambulance immediately, but he never regained consciousness. Tests revealed he had suffered a brain hemorrhage and was hospitalized. I visited him every day, but he never woke up and eventually passed away. I held back my tears as I said my final goodbyes and began arranging the funeral. The funeral was a small family affair, but some relatives showed up claiming they were promised inheritance. Thankfully, my dad had left a will in my name, so I inherited all his savings and properties. I felt my dad's love even after he was gone, and it filled my heart. I had no idea that more challenges were yet to come. My husband's family is generally sensible, but there is one sister-in-law who's terrible with money. Hey, Amelia, you inherited from your dad, right? We're sisters now, even if it's by marriage. Help me out, I'm in trouble. She's been in debt and has been asking for money quite shamelessly. I've been turning her down, but it's getting stressful. Then one day, I received an email. It was an invitation to a class reunion. As I was pondering whether to attend the class reunion, my husband Charlton spoke up.
What's got you looking so serious?
There's a class reunion coming up, but I'm not really in the mood, especially after Dad passed away.
Maybe it will be a good change of pace. Your dad wouldn't want you to be down all the time.
You're right. Encouraged by my husband, I decided to go to the reunion. When the day arrived, I was enjoying catching up with old friends. While I was alone getting a new drink, a classmate approached me.
Amelia, long time no see.
Sorry? Who are you?
Ouch, don't recognize me, I'm Cody.
I couldn't quite remember him, but he seemed to know me.
Wanna catch up?
Just then, one of my old friends called out, Amelia, where's that drink? Snapping back to reality, I said, sorry, my friends are waiting, and left. My friend quickly approached me looking concerned. Are you okay? Did that guy bother you? No, we were just talking. He said his name was Cody, but who is he? He's that unreliable playboy from the baseball team. Good-looking and athletic, remember? Oh, right. He looks different now, so I didn't recognize him. Be careful, he's still a playboy. And he was eyeing you. Come on, I'm married. I'm not exactly young anymore. I laughed it off then, but Cody kept trying to engage me. I managed to avoid him until the end of the first part of the reunion, but then he cornered me.
Why are you avoiding me, Amelia? It hurts. Are you maybe interested in me?
Don't be ridiculous.
Why so defensive? Just be honest.
I'm married, you know.
So, plenty of married people still play around. Plus, I've always liked you. How about we go for drinks?
No, thank you. If you want to drink, go to the after party. I managed to shake him off and caught a taxi home. I thought that would be the last of Cody, but more trouble was waiting for me. The next day, while I was working at the cafe, where I have a part-time job, a familiar man walked in. As I approached with a glass of water, I realized it was Cody. What are you doing here?
Just a coincidence. Lucky me, running into Amelia.
Don't lie. Who told you?
Relax. Let me place an order first. 1 blended coffee.
Reluctantly, I took his order and made his coffee. Leave after you finish this.
It says all limited refills during this time. I'll take my time.
After Cody took his sweet time chatting and sipping 3 cups of coffee, He finally paid his bill.
Just so you know, I'll be a regular here from now on,
he said, ignoring the atmosphere. I couldn't exactly kick out a customer, so I found myself serving Cody every day. I tried talking to my manager, but without any real harm done, there was nothing they could do. I wanted to consult my husband, but he was swamped with work and rarely home. Then, on a day off from my part-time job, I returned from shopping to a shocking sight.
Welcome back, Amelia. You're late.
Cody was at my house. How did you find out where I live?
Who knows? Maybe we're just fated to be together?
Stop being creepy and leave.
Why not ditch your workaholic husband and be with me? I'll treat you right.
Cody tried to put his arm around me. A chill ran down my spine and I had had enough. I pushed him away. Days later, my sister-in-law visited while my husband was home. We need to talk, they both said, looking serious.
You have been acting strange since the reunion. You're seeing another man, aren't you?
What are you talking about?
Don't play dumb. We have evidence.
Sister-in-law flipped over the envelope she was holding. Out spilled a bunch of photos of me hanging out with a guy named Cody. Pictures from a recent reunion, some from my workplace, and even one where Cody had his arm around me in front of my house. The photos were cleverly taken to look like we were having secret meetings. If you only saw these, you would think I was cheating for sure.
This is irrefutable evidence. We're getting a divorce and you owe me $50,000. Pay up all at once.
My husband and sister-in-law were smirking. It was clear they were trying to frame me for cheating. I decided to play along. Fine, if you insist on a divorce, let's do it. Don't worry about the settlement or alimony. I'll handle it all properly. At my words, my husband and sister-in-law exchanged triumphant glances. But I had no intention of letting them off the hook. From here on out, I will push both of you into hell. Oh, by the way, the inheritance I got from my dad isn't part of the marital assets.
What?
My husband and sister-in-law were stunned. My husband was the first to come to his senses.
Why not? Money earned after marriage is supposed to be split evenly.
True, for money we have earned while married. But inheritance from my deceased parents isn't something we acquired together, so it's not part of the settlement. Didn't know that, did you? Too bad for you.
What?
How do I know all this? Cody told me everything. Turns out I had consulted the police the day Cody showed up at my house. Cody got scared after a warning from the police and spilled the beans the next day.
I'm really sorry. My coworker just asked me to seduce Amelia, that's all.
Cody deeply apologized and spilled everything he knew. Turns out Cody was a junior colleague of my sister-in-law at work. My sister-in-law had heard about a reunion from her husband and said,
Cody, you went to school with my sister-in-law, right? Set a honey trap for her. If my brother and his wife divorce, we'll get some money from the settlement. I'll give you a cut if it works.
Cody got manipulated by sister-in-law and started getting close to me, while they took photos to document it. They were trying to blackmail me with these fabricated proofs of infidelity.
Oh, wait a minute. You're saying I set this guy up? How can you prove it without any evidence?
Sister-in-law denied it. I have evidence. Take a look at this. I showed them my phone screen. I had saved the text exchanges between Cody and sister-in-law and separately the text between sister-in-law and my husband. The text read,
I was so surprised to bump into you in front of the hotel.
Me too. Keep my girlfriend a secret.
Of course. You keep quiet about the guy I was with too.
Deal.
Your girlfriend is stunning. How did you meet her?
She is a co-worker in my department. We met after a transfer. I'm so happy after being with her every day.
You're bold, cheating so openly and not getting caught.
If I say it's over time, Amelia doesn't ask more. She has been so down since her father passed. I couldn't stand it otherwise.
Wow. Poor Amelia.
Actually, I want to divorce Amelia and marry her.
I have an idea. Let's make it look like Amelia cheated. Even if she doesn't fall for the honey trap, we'll have the photos and evidence. We can get compensation and a share of the inheritance.
Both my husband and sister-in-law panicked after seeing the saved text.
How did you get this?
Charlton, what does her mean? Sister-in-law, you're engaged and you're cheating too? You think I would cheat just because you are?
Give me that phone. Delete it now.
My husband tried to snatch the phone from my hand. Oops, my hand slipped. I narrowly managed to forward the screenshots of the text exchanges to someone. My husband looked at the phone screen he had just snatched from me, his face drained of color.
You've got to be kidding. Dad?
Hurry up, long press the image and cancel the message. Both were panicking, but in the meantime, my father-in-law had already read the message. Realizing that I had accidentally forwarded the SMS screenshots to father-in-law, my husband and sister-in-law turned pale. Soon after, my phone rang. It was father-in-law.
Charlton, you messed up, so you answer it.
No way, that was your idea, sis. You take responsibility.
My husband and sister-in-law were pushing my phone back and forth. Finally, sister-in-law said, "You deal with it," and handed me back the phone. I answered and explained everything to father-in-law. That night, a family meeting was called at my in-laws' house. As expected, my husband and sister-in-law got an earful. "You both cheated and tried to frame an innocent woman? Shame on you."
We owe a lot to Amelia's father. How dare you betray that trust?
My usually calm mother-in-law looked disgusted and father-in-law was furious. Turns out, my dad and father-in-law had a long-standing business relationship and my dad had helped father-in-law in times of need. Father-in-law turned to me and bowed deeply.
I'm so sorry for my foolish daughter and son. I don't know how to apologize.
After that, I decided to seek compensation from sister-in-law, my husband, and Cody through a lawyer. Despite the pending divorce and compensation, my husband packed his bags and left, going off the grid. I had a private investigator look into it and found out he had run off to his mistress's house. I was dumbfounded. I sent documents demanding compensation for adultery to both their workplaces. As a result, my husband and his cheating partner were in a bad position within the company, and my husband was relegated to another department. This led to my husband being demoted and his mistress, who was part-time, getting fired. While investigating my husband, I also had sister-in-law's affairs looked into. Turns out, she had not one, but two lovers. I informed her fiancé and my in-laws and sent them the evidence. Naturally, sister-in-law's engagement was called off and she was also sued for compensation. Afterwards, my husband and sister-in-law turned to their parents for help, but they refused and cut ties. They never thought their plan to frame me for cheating would backfire like this. Thanks to my lawyer, the divorce went through smoothly. While I felt relief, I also realized I was now alone, especially since my dad had passed away. I thought I'd be lonely, but thanks to my supportive friends and my former in-laws, who had been incredibly kind, I'm doing surprisingly well. Every now and then, my ex-husband reaches out. His messages are either about wanting to get back together, saying things like, "You're the only one for me," or asking for loans. I ignore them and send screenshots to father-in-law each time. My ex gets scolded by father-in-law again. Does he not have a learning function in his brain? Maybe he doesn't have a brain at all. Since then, Cody has stopped showing up at the cafe where I work. Now that I'm divorced and don't have to worry about anything, I have decided to work there as a full-time employee. Moving forward, I plan to manage the inheritance my dad left me while working harder than ever.